Rap Delites. Rap Delites. Rap Delites.
What's good? What's good? This is Rap Delites podcast. What's happening in the streets? What's popping? What's good? Hip hop at its finest. Get my oh.
Type it down.
She's a hater. All right, man. I'm Bats, your host for today. This is TySke. This is Miss Smith. Miss Smith just came back from vacation. Happy vacation. Where were you at? Fahidi, Hawaii?
Puerto Rico.
Nah.
Miss Smith left her wallet in El Segundo.
Nah. She was chilling. Did you see the pictures on Instagram?
I saw a couple of them.
Yeah. She was down in Kokomo.
I was living my best life.
Baby down in Kokomo.
My best life.
So
Take it down, make it slow.
Dexter St. John. I was looking for Dexter.
Oh, you better not have shenanigans.
Come here.
Oh man, so we're gonna pop off today, man. We got some good topics today, some dope topics. I've been waiting for like a week to get into this shit right here. So we're gonna finally get into it. But first, we're gonna get into what everybody's listening to. You know, we always give y'all everything. And like I said, I think we talked about this earlier in the podcast. When we talk about what we're listening to, it isn't necessarily always got to be something like current, new, or whatever like that. It's just whatever you're vibing to on the hip hop tip at this moment. You know what I mean? So we want to.
I'm so happy you said that.
You happy I said
I'm
that?
very happy you said
there
that.
You go.
I can't wait to tell you guys, but I've been listening.
Here go the bullshit. You know, dust off the Crisscross album. We gonna go with my man TySke over there and find out what he's listening to right now. You know what I mean?
I discovered this cat on my Instagram feed, and his name is A.K. Romero. That's A.K.R.O.M.E.R.O. And this album is epic. The album is called Unrequited. The theme about it is lies, deceit, relationships, and breakups. But the album, track for track, it's reminiscent of a lot of artists, established artists, and even some artists. It's got so many legs to it. It's got a reach from so many different sounds. Listening to it from the first couple of spins, I was like, damn, it's too long, it's too much, it's too many. But nah, it falls right in line.
How many tracks is on it?
He's got about enough on here. 17 tracks.
17, okay.
And you might think, oh, that's kind of too much, but it's not. It's just enough. It's so thematically, like, it's got the movie clips. That's why I say it's epic. This thing has got so much reach to it. You would dig this, niece, but you probably never listen to it.
No, I listen to it. Like, oh my God.
Probably never listen to it because I don't think my endorsement.
What's his name again? What's the name again?
Just text me his name. Let me look him
A.K.
up.
Romero.
A.K.
Let's check him out.
And I contacted him because on the Instagram feed, I commented and I basically gave him an analysis of what I thought of the album, and he thanked me.
Okay.
He
Really?
inboxed me and told me that he would send me a
hard copy. Yeah, I remember you
That's
told me
what's
about
up.
that.
Is he local?
I don't think so. I didn't get all that information.
Okay.
But I was so just into the album as my day to day while I'm at work doing what I'm doing, and I find it hard to get away from this this album. It's got so many different influences. Some of the influences production wise reminds me of Stuart Matthewman. If anybody knows who Stuart Matthewman is one of Sade's members.
Yeah.
The album reminds me. Some tracks remind me of Sweetback.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of the tracks.
You know I fucked with Sweetback.
Some of the tracks remind me of the RZA and Ghostface Killer. He's got that much range, and you know I think everybody will dig this joint.
So is it like a lot of instrumentals? Is it a lot of like?
He's
When you say Sweetback, I
he's
think
rapping.
like okay.
But production wise, he just takes it. It's just as a range.
Okay.
It's even some kind of like Drake influences. The early Drake, when Drake was, you know, and I'm not the biggest Drake fan at all, but you know, when Drake would do, you know, some of the sing-song harmonizing in conjunction with his rhymes and stuff.
Yeah.
This dude is not lyrical, but he doesn't have to be.
Okay.
Because the songs, they're good songs. It's a good quality album.
Okay. That's what we playing right. A.K. Romero. It's on. I got it on title right now.
The first track that was on my Instagram feed was the joint Lightspeed.
Lightspeed.
Yeah, that was the one that did it to me. I think that's going. You would not
check that one out.
I got that right here.
He also reminds me of Pharrell.
Open your eyes.
Oh.
And coming from that same lineage of
Open your eyes.
everything that you would get from Andre 3000, Q-Tip, and Delites, it comes full circle with this particular cat.
Okay. So A.K. Romero. A.K.Romero. You know what I mean?
Check him out.
Check it out. You know what I mean? Don't be a hater your whole life.
Right.
Don't be a hater your whole life.
Just a little part of it. Just a little bit.
All right, Miss Smith, what are you listening to? What you grooving to? What got your ears?
So this week, I think I've been feeling a little Meek this week. So I've been listening to a little Splash Warning.
Meek. That's on the new Meek album, right?
Yeah, that's on the new Meek
your
album.
Champion John.
Yeah, so I listened to that. I tried to listen to Gunna. Came out.
Oh yeah. You ain't. That's the dude. I remember. I just saw him on TMZ buying Girl Scout cookies.
Emphasis on tried.
Don't be a hater.
So it's so funny because my son was like trying to put me on and was telling me like, "Ma, you gotta listen to this one." And I was like, "No, you need to listen to this one." So then I busted out the Mobb Deep. Shook One, Survival of the Fittest, Quiet Storm is all she wrote. So then I've been busting that all week.
Told you he was old.
He's also talking about some. Oh, I know this one. It's in GTA. Really?
Yeah.
Really? I was like, we need to talk.
So you dusted off the
So I dusted. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's funny how kids pick up on things from the video games. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because I remember Aiden was listening to this Eazy-E song. He didn't know who the fuck Eazy-E is, you know what I mean? But he heard it was on some video game. You know, it was, I think it was on Fortnite or something like that. One of those games or whatever like that.
But you gotta put some Mobb Deep on.
What she was talking about?
Yeah, you gotta put on deep.
Okay, alright.
No.
I'm fronting.
That's what you got. That was the moral of the story.
That was the moral of the story.
That was the setup.
I didn't know. I didn't even.
Right over there. Right over.
I'm sorry. So we're listening to Mobb Deep.
That's right.
We're listening to Mobb Deep.
Yes.
Okay. No problem.
There we go.
It's so funny because I was banging this joint through the streets of Philly.
We're not
and
listening
every time
to
I would stop, it'd be like somebody on the corner. Yo, everybody would be like, you would see people like, yo, that's that right there.
Oh yeah, because cats out there know they want.
Right. Oh, thanks, babe.
I just don't want you
Appreciate
to.
that.
Yeah, it's all self-serving. You don't want you to mess the production up.
Check one.
It's all self-serving.
Check one. All right.
It's all self-serving. So, all right, the infamous Mobb Deep, A.K. Romero. Y'all on some hip-hop shit.
Yeah.
Y'all some heads.
We fiending for it,
Y'all some
right?
heads.
I think we fiending.
Some heads.
Yo.
They're real heads.
Yo.
The cream rises to the top.
Right.
Don't make me feel bad about the shit I was listening to. I feel like a sucker now.
No, we can go back and forth.
Listen to some hip hop.
We can go back and forth, you know? We can do that.
Nah. But I fuck with Mobb Deep all the time, every day, all day.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha.
I fucked with Mobb Deep from back with Hit It From the Back. When they was young boys.
Oh, God.
When they was young boys.
I don't even think I know that.
Yeah, that was from the old.
Oh, yes, I do.
When they
Yes,
was
I
kids.
do. Yes.
Hit it from the back.
Yes.
Hit it from the back. Hit it from the back.
Like that. Yes, I remember that one.
Yeah.
What am I talking about?
Yeah.
I just lost my hip-hop card.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I know it's y'all. I know it's somebody out there like, yo, he ain't no real hip hop dude. He ain't know the Mobb Deep. Yeah, I know Mobb Deep, motherfucker. You gotta
See, I gave you that name. I gave you that name back in the day for a reason.
Yeah,
When the original Dirty
when
Book
that shit
Packer.
was first came out,
Thank you very
was
much.
like, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
Blown away when this came out,
yeah,
right?
I had my Walkman with me, you know.
Yo, I feel like I was the only girl back in the day listening to Mobb
Well,
Deep.
that was see because with Mobb Deep with that album. Remember they had the first album, the one with Hit from the Back and all that. It was just like they were just rhyming. They was just rhyming. That infamous album.
That was them.
That was like fuck. Like that shit was just so fucking gritty and New York street shit. It was like what the fuck, and I didn't even know who the hell. I'm like I didn't even know they was the same dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was night and day.
Yeah. And they went through puberty too, because I feel like their voices changed, got deeper.
And to the day,
they got some Cuddy.
They don't even
a little
consider,
bit of Cuddy will take you there.
They don't even consider
Really,
the
it make
first
you
one.
have dope moms?
Juvenile Hell?
Juvenile Hell.
They don't even consider Juvenile Hell as that first one. They consider, the infamous
Not
as
like
their
Jiggy
debut
Rocket.
album. And I mean, it just grew so leaps and bounds from that going into
and plus they started getting into their own production and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that tick, a lot of I know the heads know, but that tick that's on that Shook ones came from the stove, the Project Stove.
Oh yeah.
Oh, when you turn it on that gas stove,
Yes.
Oh wow.
That shows Havoc's genius, and
Yo, they was babies. This is their voice.
See, that was the backpack.
Their flow was like,
yeah, this is like
this was
like what was their name? Fuck. Buckshot. Yeah. This is like on that type of
Bush baby.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? I fucked up. I fuck with Mobb Deep. Y'all got me fucked up. Nah. So yeah, I got Mobb Deep. What I've been listening to, I've been just in my bag. Well, the new 2 Chainz joint is out.
Okay.
So I was just listening to that while we was getting together, and I was listening to that a little early. Little sidebar. This morning I was listening to Solange album.
I was listening to Solange this morning. Okay, wait a minute. Wait.
I was too.
All right, but
I called the motherfucker. He didn't pick up. I was like,
so first of all, I've been stalking her Instagram because I've been trying to find out when it was coming out. It came out today. I was listening to it. First of all, it got like 19 tracks. Was it 18, 19? That joint really short though.
Bananas.
I feel like I heard the whole album in 45 minutes.
I just drove to work, so I only got like 15 minutes. So I only got like.
Nah, I got a different opinion.
I was out and about in the snow. It's snow here on the East Coast. Out and about in the snow, doing my workout or whatever. Had to run to the bank, and I'm listening to this shit, and that's like. It all sounds the same, but it's like different pitches and different variations of the same sound.
Right.
It's fucking bananas. Right. I'm looking around. I got my earbuds in. I'm looking around like, is anybody hearing this? But of course they not. It's just me. I'm like, you gotta fucking get involved. So I call
me up.
Yeah. No, you should listen to it. All day I've been listening to it. I've been trying. So when I first heard it, I was like, okay, yeah, I can bang with this. But then I listened to it again. I was like, I don't know, it's something different. I feel like she's like leveling up to another level that I ain't there. I'm not at yet. I'm not. I feel like I'm not there.
It's good for you to admit that. It's good for you to admit that. You know what I mean? Yeah, it'd be like that.
I feel like the next album might be like all space music.
I said to myself, why would you do any drugs or any kind of substance when you could just do something?
I remember like when
I renounce. My new culture is Solange.
I remember when Raphael Sadiq brought out Instant Vintage.
Yeah.
Just to give you some perspective on what you're saying, he brought out Instant Vintage, and I was a big Tony fan, and I was in the Ralph all I asked of you and all that. And I was into all of his shit.
Right.
Then that album came out, and I didn't fuck with it at all. Like I remember I spent it, and then it went on the shelf. And then I caught up with it like 3 years later.
And you have found some.
And I'm like, yo, this shit is so banging.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. You know what I mean? But that was in the morning time. I was listening to Solange, and then tonight I was listening to the new 2 Chainz joint. And 2 Chainz is one of them dudes. You don't expect lyrics.
Yeah.
It's just a fun time with 2 Chainz. It is. It's just a fun.
It is.
It's almost reminiscent of like later Bismarck E albums.
Yeah, I see that.
It's fun.
Like, it's spring again, and you got what I need.
Okay.
It's great fun.
But on a more trap level.
But on the trap level, because Biz wasn't on that vibe.
Yeah, white people gentrified that.
Yeah, absolutely. but that's what when I listen to 2 Chainz, that's the kind of vibe. I look for. Just a little fun.
Yeah.
He got this joint right here, "Rule the World" with Ariana Grande with the sample from A. Marie. Why don't we?
Oh, do they?
Yeah. It's a nice little joint on here.
Yeah, I like that integration. That's me. I like that integration of hip hop.
He got another joint called $2 Bill with E40 and Wayne that's hot. That's a hot joint. He got a couple joints on it.
Out today?
That came out today. Yeah.
That's the joint you was playing earlier.
Yeah. This came out today.
Okay.
Keep up.
Wow.
That's payback for the Mobb Deep Meek, John.
You wasn't on it.
But yeah, so I've been fucking with the 2 Chainz rap or go to the league. That's a dope joint if you want to check something out. But what I've been listening to all week is Pharrell's first solo album, which was after the Neptunes and the Nerd and all that kind of stuff, and the album in My Mind, which it didn't get a lot of steam. I remember he put out the single Frontin' with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And he put out the single for Frontin', and then everybody was like waiting for the album or like that, but Frontin' wasn't on the album.
Wasn't on there.
Yeah, but Jay was on the album. And him and Jay had a joint on there called Young Girl. And it's like 2 songs.
Yeah.
And it's like split. It's Young Girl and I Really Like You. And he got a bunch of shit on this album. He got Slim Thugs on this album. And it's just one of those albums that I used to just bang on a regular basis. And I don't know what made me. I might have saw Pharrell's picture on Instagram or some shit like that. And it just like
gravitated.
No, it'd be like that.
Jog my memory
something
to
to take you back to something that you know.
So I was listening to that, and then I remembered that this album, they remastered this album. Questlove, James Poyer, and Pharrell redid the album with all live instruments.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And it's a totally different album. Like, and you can find it's not even an official release.
Okay.
But you can find it on YouTube and shit like that or like that. So you know what I mean? In my mind, Pharrell is one of so that's what I've been like just.
I'm a huge Pharrell fan.
Pharrell
fan.
Listening to that second version, that remix version, it's got more weight to it.
Yeah.
It's got more depth. It's more rap heavy as opposed to the original, the official release. It's kind of quick. It goes from 1 to 10 and then 10, 10, 13.
Yeah.
There's no 11, 12 track, but it comes off fast and it's vintage Pharrell.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And I think I was just kind of feeling for that little sound and everything like that.
You know, I think we were all feeling for that sound this week. We all took it back this week, right?
Yeah. I was feeling for that.
Pharrell reminds me. What comes to mind when I hear his production is what you probably would have gotten from Quincy Jones or Rick James or Michael Jackson, the producer, if hip hop would have came online around that time.
Yeah.
His what he offers, you know, in regards to production, just reminds me of them specifically.
Yeah, I remember when me and Ty. This is when Nerd first album came out, and nobody was fucking with that album. Nobody. Nobody.
It was kind of alternative.
It wasn't kind of alternative. It was fucking alternative.
It was alternative.
The only thing that wasn't like lap dance. People mess with lap dance.
Yeah.
But lap dance was still kind of like. It wasn't hip hop.
Yeah.
It was like
they had the backing band Spy
Mob. Me and Ty went to the concert down at the Trocadero. One of the best concerts I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah.
Everybody was there.
Yeah.
They had
the Clips was there. Khalees was there. Everybody was there.
They brought their
the whole squad was there. It was just a dope
ass
that was a dope fucking concert. So
damn.
AK Romero, Mobb Deep, Pharrell, 2 Chainz. Rap Delites. We'll be right back after this commercial break. You know what I mean?
Rap Delites. Rap Delites. Rap Delites.
Welcome back to Rap Delites, place where you get authentic hip hop commentary, organic, no GMO, no cultural appropriation involved. You know what I mean?
gentrification.
No gentrification, none of that bullshit. Speaking of gentrification, we're gonna get into this whole Meek Mill, Rapaport. His name
Rapaport.
Maybe that's why he think he entitled, because his last name got rap in it. Well, we're gonna get into this, and I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to this whole thing or whatever like that, but I've been paying attention to it because it's a big thing with me when people talk the way Rapaport talks. So we're going to get into what Rapaport. Yeah, we're going to get into Rapaport. Basically sounded off on Twitter at Meek Mills, saying first he said Meek Mills, do you have a hearing problem? Because he rhymes off the actual beat on everything he's on, literally off the beat, no flow. You know what I mean? That was the first thing he said. Then he said, let me scroll up. Meek Mill, great story, great look, trash rapper, sorry. And then he went on to say, you make 300 songs, 5 will be okay. And then he said he had the chance to prove himself as a dope rapper. Then came along Drake. And at the moment, that was the moment to stand tall as a rapper. Like I said, great story. Probably going to do some positive stuff. None of that makes you a dope MC. Dragged by Drake. And then he said some other stuff or whatever like that. But basically, he was talking shit about Meek Mills and Meek Mill's skills. And then he said he wasn't even in the top 20 Philadelphia rappers. Which is the biggest crock of shit I ever heard in my life. But whatever. You know what I mean? Meek fired back. Just one little thing. Meek said, hey, Rapaport. Don't ever use the word trash when you're speaking on nothing of our culture unless you're trying to get trash. Number 2, who gave you authorization to speak out on us? Number 3, what are you charging now? Last time I saw you, you wanted a selfie, but be great on the net. You know what I mean? That's Meek. That was Meek's retort to that. You know what I mean? TySke, what is your you got anything to say about this whole Michael Rapaport, Meek Mill beef or whatever like that? If you can call it that.
Yeah.
If you can call it that.
I think Mike is. I like Mike. I like Michael Rapaport. I like him when he's going at Donald Trump and other issues that are more important. I think he's reaching. Anybody in the media, if they, he knows his numbers. He probably was checking his numbers and know his approval rating was waning or dipping below the peak, measures and such. But so he's reaching. I think he's reaching. So what did Meek do? Nothing. Yeah. Is he currently in the news doing or something, or what did he do to get in Rapaport's radar
for him to say some shit or whatever like that?
To me, Rapaport is reaching. He's trying to spike something where it's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, and he's always doing stuff like he's always on some rap shit. He's always like talking about different things and stuff like that. So I've heard him talk about other things with other artists like before. You know what I mean? But not he never directly called out anybody like this before. This is the first time I've ever seen this, but this is in bad taste.
It seems it seems malicious. He tried to walk it back a little bit on Sway in the Morning.
Yeah, because now he's like apologizing about it and everything like that because he's getting a lot of heat for it. And he know what he said was some bullshit.
And just what a rap would do, he still wants to have his position and still and try to get a reach around and
I love that.
He try to still have his position, give a half-ass apology, but get a reach around and still say what he's going to say anyway.
Yeah. So how do you feel about it, Miss Smith?
So my feelings are as follows.
Number 1.
We, the black delegation, would like to return Michael Rapaport for Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen came correct.
You know what I mean?
Michael Cohen came correct this week.
We're going to switch out Michael Rapaport.
Yeah, we're going to switch him out for Michael Cohen.
Yeah.
Because And I really used to enjoy his commentary on Instagram, and I still may, but I gotta fall back for a while because I think your black card needs to be revoked because when you start talking about things, he had the temporary joint.
He had a tan card.
That 21 Savage joint that he had to stay here. What was it called?
He had a green card. He had a tan card. Temporary visa.
Temporary visa. But when you start talking things that you have absolutely no, I get that you have been a part of the culture or you've immersed yourself in our culture, and that's fine. But
you're just talking out of turn.
You are very much talking out of turn.
Yeah,
I do agree with that, and you're gonna get backlash, especially when it's unwarranted, because what you're saying is unfactual. He is one of the best rappers out right now. He writes his own stuff.
And he's definitely in the top 20 in Philadelphia.
Definitely.
No, that's hands down. Yeah. He's definitely in the top fucking 20.
So, Michael Rapaport, I don't know where that came from. I don't know who angered you. That's it right there.
That's it for Michael Rapaport.
That's it.
Yeah,
trying to squeeze an inch.
My thing is like Lord Jamal always says when he's talking or like that, you can't come into somebody's house and disrespect.
Yeah.
And coming out with blatant disrespect. You know what I mean? See, and this is the thing that a lot of people that aren't a part of, and I don't mean not a part of the hip hop culture.
Yeah.
Hip hop has a culture, true. Yes. But blacks also have a culture that's integrated, or hip hop is integrated into the black culture.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And Rapaport, although you might know hip hop, you don't know black culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know hip hop. You know what you know. You know what you know about hip hop, but you don't know black. You don't know tit about black culture.
Right.
And what Meek is spitting, you say, oh, you know, Ryan, who gives a fuck about what all that? That's semantics. That's that shit. That's the kind of shit that make them exalt Eminem. Mm-hmm. Those little nuances. He can rap. He do this and then Meek. He spits for the streets.
That's right.
He spits for them dudes that's his age, that's younger than him, and the motherfuckers love that shit. I love it. I listen to Champion and I ball the fuck out. When you was watching the Eagles in the Super Bowl in the fucking locker room playing Meek fucking Mills, they was losing their fucking minds.
Everybody is. Anywhere you go, it's like this theme right now. They putting that on. Everybody's going crazy. Exactly.
That shit is real. That wasn't no shit that they just staged to put on the TV. That was real. You can't disrespect or dismiss a dude like that. That dude is... He's representing Philly. He's representing hip hop hard.
Do we know what caused him to say that?
It don't matter.
He's reaching.
It don't matter.
I mean, usually there's something that does, like with the Trump shit. Trump will do something to set him off.
Yeah.
What happened? Whereas he had to come, he felt the need to come forward and say, Meek is trash.
He was high. He had to have been high to say it. Like, what would even be the reason to even say something like that? You played yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You came out your mouth sideways and you played yourself.
Yeah.
This dude right here, Meek, and the thing about Meek, and this isn't going to be a dick eating Meek time or whatever like that, but Meek was supposed to be done. After the whole Drake situation, and then Nicki left him or broke up with him or whatever like that, in the public eye, Meek was supposed to be trash. He was like, all right, he put out another album. Nobody want to hear it no more. He done.
Yeah.
Then he came back out and still hitting.
Yeah.
Still dropping joints. You can't dismiss a dude like that. You know what I mean? You can't dismiss a dude like that. And to call him trash?
Yeah, I was scared for Meek. Even Philly.
Yeah.
Philly was really dying.
Yeah, you was. Everybody was. It was like, damn, I mean?
Yeah.
Because remember, he went through the Drake thing.
Yeah.
Even the whole Nicki thing. Then with the whole Game thing.
Yeah. Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Game was coming to Philly and all that kind of shit. And it was just a rough time. Then the whole, when they knocked out Beanie Siegel and the John, there was just a whole bunch of bullshit going on.
Such a horrible sequence of events.
You know what I mean? It was just a bunch of bullshit.
It
was just a bunch of bullshit going on. And for him to still persevere through all of that and rise and put out a dope ass fucking album, that Champion album is a dope fucking album.
He is preaching.
You know what I mean?
Even if you felt like that though, keep that shit
you like that
keep
word?
it to yourself just for this one. I can't work under these conditions.
Persevere.
PER severe. Even if you have these thoughts, keep that shit to yourself. Like you said, You may understand hip hop,
But you don't understand
but you
black
don't
culture.
understand the
Understand.
culture. You don't
Right.
understand the reason why we are riding with him and for him. Not
Yeah.
only because we think he's a dope artist, not only because of what he's been through, but because he's a dope artist and because of what he's been through.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's just that simple.
Yeah,
And this is like psychologically, and that's to take another thing from the Dave Chappelle show, just in terms of one of his skits. I know black people.
Oh, I thought you were
You
gonna
know.
say cocaine is a hell of a drug. I'm
Oh
sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
that too.
Well, that too.
That too.
But it's the thing, like psychologically, you could do
Thanks.
a mind trick, on yourself. I know hip hop, and people would take that as a license to start judging or passing judgment on black people and black
Yeah,
culture.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
No, it
Like-
gives them a license to think that they can speak freely about things,
Yeah,
and it just doesn't.
Yeah, I read like
It's one of those things like stay in your
stay
lane.
in your fucking lane. Even if you over here, like
Yeah.
if I go to Ty house and I don't like his curtains, he invite me over to the crib, we drinking and stuff like that. We having a party.
Right.
I'm not gonna pull the record off of the needle off the record. Yo, Ty, these fucking curtains is trash, bro. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm still out on that one. You just
I might pull him to the side and say, "Yo, new curtains. Who picked them ones out?" You know what I mean? That's me pulling my brother to the side.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's me pulling him to the side. I'm not going to scratch. And Michael Rapaport pulled the needle off the record.
Yeah.
And said Meek Mills is trash, and now he's getting shit for it. You know what I mean? Like, fuck out of here. Now,
Yeah.
you can't speak on the culture. You ain't us. Me, all of us can sit in here and say Meek is trash, but you can't. And I don't give a fuck how many Latin quarters and rooftops you hung out at. None of that don't mean tit. It don't mean tit. You still a guest. You know what I mean?
You still a white man.
Yeah.
Stay in your place.
Exactly. Stay in your place for somebody to put you in your place. You know what I mean? Come down to Philly with that mess. You know what I mean? Now I'm all flustered. Now we gotta take
Now
a
we
break.
all hot.
You know what I mean? Now we gotta take a break. We be right back with more Rap Delites. I'm Bats.
I'm Miss Smith,
And I'm TSK1.
and you're watching
Rap Delites. Welcome back to Rap Delights. Sorry we got a little flustered a little earlier. Now we on the even kill now. You know what I mean? We good now. Everybody good? You good, Miss Smith?
I'm good.
You good? Everybody good? Fuck Michael Rapaport.
Last word, right?
Last little word. You know what I mean? All right. We're going to get into the artist of the week, which is the almighty De La Soul.
Yes, let me hear that applause. Yes.
Yeah. This hip hop trio was formed in 1987 in Amityville, New York City. Known for their eclectic sampling, quirky lyrics, and their contribution to jazz and rap. I didn't know that. The members: Pasanus, Trugoy, Maceo.
Maceo.
The three formed a group in high school and caught the ear of DJ producer Prince Paul, the Doo-Doo Man. With their demo tape, and they've been working and doing what they do and sampling, innovating with witty rhymes. And the band's album 3 Feet High and Rising is a hip hop masterpiece. We're gonna go to my man TySke with the juice on De La Soul. How do you feel about De La Soul, TySke?
De La, just in terms of like De La is one of the most important groups in hip hop history, not just in hip hop history, but in my own personal history. De La was a constant in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, there are other. If you think of a guitar string, that's the constant. You pluck that string and the vibrations will go into other groups. That's granted, but De La was always a constant, just in terms of being true, authentic, and the personification of what it means to me of real hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Even that first, that first big video, which was Me, Myself, and I. a lot of people didn't get like the topic,
The
man.
concept of the video.
concept.
Yeah.
Basically, it was thumbing a nose not to the establishment, but it was challenging the establishment to say you don't have to be a rapper, but just showing up with the costume, with the typical costume at the time. It was gold chain sweatsuits, Kangos, etc., etc.
There was a deaf beat.
You could
They got deaf. They got.
you could be yourself. Potholes in my lawn was about biting. A lot of cats don't know that, know about that, but to me, Daylight and groups like Daylight, well, that's hardcore hip hop to me. When you think of hip hop at its rawest essence, that's hardcore. Why does hardcore hip hop only spoke about with people who use excessive profanity? Why? Because they curse in their rhymes. They curse on record, and it's excess of misogyny and advocation of violence and etc. That's not hardcore to me. That's commercialism at its best. Daylight represented the truth and the true essence of hip hop, and were a vehicle to usher in the hip hop renaissance, in an era what I like to consider as a hip hop renaissance, an era when producers started pulling from other sources, as opposed to your typical funk
James
records,
Brown and
etc.
stuff like that.
And this was ushered in by Prince Paul as a producer who helped use Daylight again as a vehicle to push this narrative or this different frequency along.
Because, well, also to add on to that, Prince Paul, he came from Stetsasonic, and Stetsasonic was always on some some jazz type shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
The hip hop band.
Plus, Paul he was the youngest member of Stet.
Yeah.
He was from Long Island.
Yeah.
All of them was from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And the things that he couldn't do in Stet,
He did with Daylight.
Daylight.
Yeah.
And that, that influence
The Doo-Doo Man.
help usher in a new era like that. That I like to consider as the hip hop renaissance. Yeah, Prince Paul, Jazzy Jeff, who were the precursors for Pete Rock, Large Professor,
Yeah.
Q-Tip, and Primo, which is what I consider the hip hop renaissance.
Okay.
So,
Niece?
what you think, niece?
What about Miss Smith?
De La Soul is one of my favorites from the 80s. I think they are true pioneers. I think one of my favorite joints was Plug 1, Plug 2.
Oh, that was the first joint.
Yeah.
That was a demo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites. I know.
It's still bananas to this day.
I know, and it's kind of unfortunate what they're going through right now.
With the whole Tommy Boy
Yeah,
and releases and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We gonna get, I didn't fuck with De La Soul.
Oh, why do I always gotta move my seat?
Listen, you gotta hear me out.
God.
When they first came out, I mean, I saw it. I just didn't get it. Ty was a little bit older than me, like I always say. He's a little bit, so he caught shit a little bit. I was with Death Beat. When they was making fun of. I was with Death Beat. I was with Kane and Cool G Rap and Gold Chains, and I was with Death Beat. So they came on. I'll give myself. You know what I mean? That's for myself. Yeah, but they came on with their little braided things and little shirts.
Gumbies, they had everything.
No. It wasn't just a Gumby. It was like a little nappy Gumby joint going on. It wasn't just a Gumby. It wasn't like Bobby Brown's Gumby.
Because that's what cats was like. Let's started locking up.
Yeah, that was totally
started locking up.
I wasn't feeling them because they was more hippie-ish. They had the peace signs.
that's
They
what
had
They
like.
wasn't hippies.
Like,
Trust me.
They weren't hippies, but people were identifying them
because
as.
that's all they knew.
But
Exactly,
people called
yeah.
them hippies.
Exactly.
People were calling them hippies.
Yeah.
And niggas around the way was calling them that.
Right.
got to the point-
They wasn't rocking Pele. They didn't have like, you know what I mean?
No, they were being themselves.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
being themselves, and
Yeah.
and that was the whole concept and the whole thing about Daylight is that we just want to do what we do and just show up to the show.
Yeah.
As if we would, show up to the block.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
And it was fresh. They was their own kind of fresh.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Everybody, if you look at footage and photographs of them back in the day, it's nothing too too different than what we was all.
No,
all
it wasn't.
Oh, no,
It
no,
wasn't
no,
at
not at all. Not at all. And
It was
that's-
just something about
it was
the
just
vibe. They
fashion
had a
was
different,
changing.
They had a very different vibe about all three
Right.
of them.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
didn't. I like when I saw it because they were like it started it. They started that whole thing. I mean, it was people in the streets that was doing it, of course.
What whole
It was-
thing?
That the way that we wasn't dressing like that. We wasn't dressing like that around the way, you know what I mean? But that whole like the
house mentality. I think it was
Right.
into that house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right,
that
right.
house. That's how it was.
Kinda like
Yeah.
vibe with
And
like
their
that.
crewmates were
Yeah.
the Jungle
The
Brothers.
Jungle Brothers
And the
and
Jungle
stuff.
Brothers,
Oh,
Africa
that's
single-handedly helped to introduce house music into hip hop.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it was a mad house scene in New York City that they was not only going to the hip hop clubs, he was going to the house clubs and marry the
and
chick.
I never
And they didn't
like
get it because that went well
house
into the 90s.
like and I didn't and I, like I remember De La Soul, but I didn't listen to the Jungle Brothers at all. I remember them.
Neither did I.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't listen to the Jungle Brothers at all, so I didn't equate it to the Jungle Brothers.
Right.
I equated it to De La Soul.
Sure.
So when I saw De La Soul, I'm like,
Sure.
that ain't Def. That ain't Def
That ain't
beat.
Def beat.
That was me. That was
I'm not judging, but I'm
But you know
judging.
something like
that was what
Isaac-
80 what 87
You know
87,
something?
88, yeah.
I was 10.
Yeah. I was 10. I was
something
still
like- listen.
catching them vibes. What are you talking about?
Like
Don't
when-
make excuses.
when 3 Feet High and Rising, like sometimes Google has the release dates mixed up. It has an official release date in '89. Plug Tuning, I remember. And hearing some of their tracks in '88. Plug Tuning, I remember hearing in '87. So that was their demo. That was their first track. So the thing about this image thing, and it got beyond. It got far beyond where they saw where they could control.
Right.
It got so heavy to the point with this whole hippie thing, and it was never about hippies. You know, Cash was testing them while they was on tour, so they would ultimately get in fights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To
Even the
protect
album cover.
situation. Right?
It had that like psychedelic
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it just when I as a kid I equated it to that.
And fast forward to their sophomore album, De La Soul is Dead. They destroyed the whole concept.
Yeah.
Which is genius. How does something get built up to the point where you said you now destroy it? The album cover was a pot with a daisy broken.
Yeah. Because it was the Daisy era.
Fucking
It
genius.
was the Daisy era.
Yeah.
It was the Daisy era.
They were
So
hot. They were just.
And the
yeah.
Daisy Age, it was an acronym. It was the inner sound something or other.
But yeah, so I didn't necessarily fuck with them when I first heard it. Everybody heard me, myself, and I.
The inner
it was
sound,
on the radio
y'all.
all fucking day.
The inner sound, y'all.
No.
Daisy.
There you go. So yeah, it was on the radio all day, every day, and I heard it. But I still, it wasn't a go-to for me.
This was the jam though.
It wasn't a go-to
Yeah.
for me. And even when they came out with what was that? De La Soul is Dead. I still was like,
That was my shit, yo.
I still was on the fence. It wasn't until what was that? Stakes is High. What was that? The next album was Stakes is High.
No, Blue Mind State.
Blue Mind State. That's what the
That's when you started messing with them?
yeah. And now because it was because I bought the album.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like before that,
Blue Mind State was '93.
yeah, Blue Mind
Yeah.
State. I had actually bought that album. Prior to that, I didn't buy those other albums.
Okay.
It was I was just getting what I was getting from the video shows and stuff like
Sure.
that, and it just wasn't hitting me.
Yeah.
But when I heard that album, and they had the chick on there, was a chick named
Shorty.
Shorty and all that,
Shorty
yeah,
Romance,
Shorty, yeah. It was just
And she
it
was from Philly.
It was just a vibe, and I was like,
Yeah,
man,
she was from
yeah.
Philly.
yeah, it was just a totally
like one of them
dope ass
where they
vibe,
now-
a totally dope ass vibe, which made me go back and revisit
Right,
the
right.
other stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, then I gotta better appreciate. This is just me being brutally honest to the people. You know what I mean? I gotta be me. You know what I mean? I gotta do that.
Can we get that wonk wonk?
We need one.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been getting that all night, whatever. But yeah, so I got back and then I redeemed myself and then I got into the De La Soul and everything. Then I really got into Paz. I really got
Yeah.
into Paz like real heavy.
By the time like post Stakes is High, this is when they I don't want to say severed ties or they stopped working production wise with Prince Paul. And this is when when going into Stakes is High, which was released in 1996, which I totally missed, and I had to
go back.
revisit. Yes.
Yeah, because we was in the clubs. No, we wasn't in the clubs. That was 96, you said?
Yeah.
No, we wasn't in the clubs. Sorry.
So I revisiting that. This is when they started working with Dilla, and this goes into Dilla, and their genius, in conjunction with his genius, and this just spawned a whole new thing. The Stakes is High, and it if you listen to these albums, just in terms of the responsibility and the maturity, going back to 3 Feet High and Rising, and every installment that you've grown with these young men, these men.
Yeah.
They've grown with us.
Right.
They've grown in their progression and your own progression. And say like, damn, like you go from here to that most recent release, which was the Anonymous Nobody.
That's your shit.
Yeah.
When was that?
Yeah.
When was that released?
That was released in 2016.
That's Ty's. Remember you had the little man on your like.
Yeah, that was my whole Facebook profile.
Yeah, that was his thing. Then. Yeah, but we're gonna cut to a break, but we're gonna come back and talk more about this whole De La Soul and their situation with Tommy Boy. So we'll be right back with more Rap Delites.
Rap Delites. Rap Delites.
And the remix kind of took over.
Yeah, you need to play that.
The remix took over the original.
Yeah,
The remix they take because Moni was on there.
Yeah.
Moni had a dunk.
Everybody was on.
Yeah,
because the original was just De La and Jungle.
Yeah, and then the remix had Tip and that was the first John Tip. No, he was on something else.
And
he was on something else.
Because he might have been.
I'm here to break down the definition of.
He might have been on that with Jungle, because he was with Jungle all the time.
Yeah,
and because it was Africa that would tell Tip to say, every time you in your rhyme, say what group you from. Say your group. Tip from A Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, you cannot hear that beat and not be like,
this is shit. And I fuck with this, but I still didn't have the album. You know what I mean? This is the video stuff. I was a kid. I didn't
had none of these albums. I fucked with all of it.
You ready, Sam? We rolling? All right, we rolling. We in the business yard over there, everybody. Wait a minute. All right. Rap Delites is back. We're still talking De La Soul. You know what I mean? We playing a little buddy video over here. The Jungle Brothers, De La Soul, Queen Latifah,
was so
Q-Tip.
hype. It made you. It just 80 vibes, like.
Yeah, they was in their bag. They was chilling.
Fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
We're gonna get into this whole thing that's going on with De La and Tommy Boy Records now. And for those of you that don't know, the first 2 De La albums? Or the first three?
First 3.
No, it's a bulk of their catalog.
A bulk of the catalog?
But they said they mentioned the first 3 is really.
Yeah, that is supposed to be getting released.
Yeah.
On
digital,
which is Spotify, your iTunes, your Tidal, and everything like that. But the label was going to release their earlier material on these digital platforms, and they were basically going to be taking 90% of the profit and leaving the 10% to De La,
which is pennies.
to split between the 3 of them.
Which
you
is
know
pennies.
what I mean? Which is, I mean, honestly, shit, they was getting pennies with the record label, period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now, but the biggest thing is, from my understanding of it, is they're getting 10%. But on the digital medium, there's different laws as far as like the streaming with their copy with the samples. Mm-hmm. So they have the samples aren't cleared.
Right.
They're going to be in lawsuits. See, but the lawsuits go to De La Soul, not the Tommy Boy.
Not the Tommy Boy.
So if they release the albums, if somebody sues them for that, if they get lawsuits, it's going to go to that 10%, that little 10% that they already was that they was getting. Which is some bullshit.
And these issues go back to Tom Silverman and not doing his diligence or doing what Jews do, doing backdoor shit and not clearing shit properly. Doing some, okay, we can do this, and then some handshake, from the news kind of shit. And before you know it, the artist is stuck with what's the
holding the bag.
Right.
Yeah. Now Tom Silverman.
Right.
He's basically he's a record executive. He started Tommy Boy Records back in 1981. He got a loan from his parents, $5,000. Started in his apartment.
Typical.
No, he got a loan from mommy and daddy, helped him out to get the record label started. Now he's
Shalom.
But that's who Tom Silverman is. He's the CEO of Tommy Boy Records. Tommy Boy Records also put out Queen Latifah, Naughty by Nature, put out a bunch of different people.
And he snuck in the shadow. Which again, Michael, the same thing that Michael Rapaport is doing, sneaking in under the shadow of pioneers, thinking it gives you a right to do
Africa
us
Bam.
He snuck in under the shadow of Africa Bambaataa.
Yeah, Africa Bam and stuff like that. And I mean, you want to go into it a little bit more before I start getting flustered? Because I'm gonna get flustered. I'm gonna get upset. You want me to get flustered?
Go back and
My biggest problem with this whole De La Soul and Tommy Boy and shit like that, just like you said with the whole Michael Rapaport and Tom Silverman and all of these culture vultures that come into the culture.
That's right.
That suck the culture dry of all the revenue. You know what I mean, and leave peanuts for the not even just the necessarily not. I'm not even gonna say the artists, the black people. You know what I mean? They said because I never hear anything about the Beastie Boys getting jerked.
Right.
Never will.
I never heard anything about the Beastie Boys getting jerked. You know, I never heard that.
Yeah.
I never heard that. I heard even in the Def Jam bullshit that was going on in Def Jam, all the bullshit that was going on in Def, I never heard that.
They were always safe.
You know what I mean? I never heard that, and that's some bullshit. It's the black artists that get and it's at the point with me where I can no longer get mad at the white executives. I get mad at the black people who have money. Right. You know what I mean? Who didn't invest into the culture. You have to invest into the culture. You can't see culture. A vulture is
so who we talking about here? Like the Andre Harrells? Like who we talking about?
Whoever had money.
Okay.
Whoever had money. See, a vulture is a scavenger bird. They don't know how to hunt.
Dead carcass.
They don't know how to hunt. They don't have a they're not a part of the food chain.
Right.
They don't have a natural predator, or they're not a predator towards other things.
Okay.
They basically eat what's left over. The problem with hip hop and what happened to hip hop and jazz is we left too much of the carcass around for the vultures. We left the meaty parts, the money.
And the thing is,
you know what I mean? We left it on the we left it on the
back to education. We
weren't educated, but
educated.
now like we're at the point where we have those. I can't believe that in all of these rappers that's supposed to be so knowledge rap and they kicking knowledge and they don't have one or two of these dudes that sent their kids to college to become entertainment lawyers so they can take that name that their father made or their mother made and make it into something, make an industry of this and take it away from them. You know what I mean? That's what should be being done. Like something like with Joe Kennedy. Yeah. Did with his son. Joe Kennedy said, this is the Kennedy, the senior Kennedy. He said his first son was in the military. I think he was in the Navy. Right. In the Navy, he was grooming him for the presidency.
He's one that died.
Yeah, he died in World War II. Joe said, next in line, John, you up next. Right. You going to be president. It wasn't Dad, I wanna go and no, fuck you. I worked too hard as an ambassador. You know what I mean? To build this up. And I'm giving this to you to make something out of it.
Create an empire.
Yeah, create an empire. At this point in hip hop, we should have black hip hop empires. Black hip hop empires.
And that
aside from Puff, and the only people we got is Puff And people shit on Puff.
Sure.
But he did it.
Okay, let me stop you there.
Uh-huh.
In a perfect world, that would be beautiful music. Okay?
Yeah.
But basically, and you see this from every single hip-hop documentary that showcases, pioneers. We, watch the De La Soul one. In every one, there is always, and I hate to say it, but there's always,
Say it. Don't hate to say it.
Yeah,
there's
say
always
it.
that white person, that's kind of like in charge of everything. That's kind of spearheading their career.
Yeah.
That's kind of showing.
Like
You know what
with
I mean? Like,
NWA.
exactly.
Yeah, like with
exactly.
NWA.
You know what I mean?
And a lot of times they're
And-
Jewish fellows.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like it's hard for them to. I mean, let's
They're vultures.
yeah.
What does a vulture do? A vulture will pick over the dead carcass.
Yeah,
Right.
like I
of
said.
something.
So, but I'm saying, if this person is is this person's controlling your career? If this person is the decision maker, do you actually believe that they're educating them correctly? You actually believe
No,
that they're
they're not.
giving
They're
them,
not.
hey, go
They're
see
not.
my man, the accountant, such and such. This accountant is probably killing their books,
How
going
can-
back to the record company, like you know
How
what
can
I mean?
a ruler rule if the masses are educated?
Exactly.
To his point.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and it harkens back to, I remember Jay-Z was doing an interview, and he was talking about, like, dealing with executives and white executives
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and they try to, like, push that, oh, come on, man, you ain't got to charge that, man, this for the culture, you know what I mean, all that,
Yeah.
and Jay was like, yo, I want my money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want my bread. Like, you say that,
Right.
they'll try to sell that shit to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, it's hip, like that Rapaport shit. It's hip hop. I was at the Latin Court. I know what it is. Look, I'm a b-boy. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Give me my coins.
See,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's what they do because they control the commerce.
Exactly.
They control the means to market your God-given talents. So what it is, our lack of education, we mortgage our God-given talents over to Jewish fellows to use us. Excuse me. To use us and basically further put us down.
Yeah.
And further miseducate us,
Yeah.
et cetera, with any power that we would gain from our God-given talents is siphoned away.
Yeah.
Through backdoor deals and handshakes and contracts. and shit.
Bullshit.
Like you can't tell me there's no way that De La was making coin back in the day.
No.
There's no way.
No, they weren't. No, nobody was.
There's
They thought
absolutely
they
no way.
was.
Yeah.
They were paying them dudes in gold chains and cars.
They
Yeah.
was getting, and this is historically, the artists make their largest buck off of touring.
Yeah.
Off a touring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And any endorsements that they would get on their own.
Yeah.
But yet,
Basically-
Tommy Boy's coming back now and telling De La,
Because
well, you guys
Tom
owe
Silverman
us.
didn't do his fucking
Exactly.
job, or
You owe
he did
us.
some
He did some back alley shit.
He did
Yeah.
some
Shady
Yeah.
shit. He did some shady shit, and now it's biting them back on the ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, listen, where's the camera? Any rappers
think
out
it's
here
right here.
looking at this right now, whatever like that, if you got kids, send your kids to school, law school, entertainment law. You know what I mean? Build an empire of your own. You know what I mean? You're already doing the legwork right now. You're grinding it out right now. Your kids, do it for your fucking kids. You know what I mean? Fuck them being on Instagram and being celebritats and all that kind of shit. Send them to school for fucking entertainment law.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Entertainment law. Because you already put the groundwork in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Artists been around for 20, 30 years. You already put the ground. Your name is known.
I agree.
So you might as well invest in your kid and say, all right, do this. And I ain't just blowing smoke. Because my daughter is about to graduate college with a degree in journalism and broadcasting. The same shit that I'm doing right here, right now.
Right.
She can come in and take over all of this shit right here and do it by herself. So I'm not just some motherfucker just talking outside of my neck, you know what I mean? Not practicing what I'm preaching. You got to do that. If you're doing something constantly and you're doing it for all these years, you got to. And black artists have to invest in the
agree.
culture. They have. It's not just cars and chains.
Yeah, and that's something we like totally bastardize the word culture. Like we don't. Yeah, I see you.
You hit on that. He was speaking it. He good. I had it all the way up to mama. He was like, yeah, I was
You know what I mean?
But no, I feel you.
It's we talk culture, not to cut you.
Yeah,
we talk culture. I don't think many of us know what the fuck culture is.
No.
We don't take the opportunity to actually define things. We know our sister does. Culture, which is a noun. the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. Culture. Now, number 2, the customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social groups. And we can parse that even further. But just just off the lip, and the basis of what that means. Culture. What is culture? How many cultures are there? What is the significance of hip hop culture versus black culture versus American culture versus the culture of the recording industry?
Yeah.
Versus the culture of Jewish fellows and what it is that they do.
Yeah. It's just it gets me so upset to see all the, because these guys are not, like I said, this dude started a record company with $5,000 of his parents' money. It's no way in hell that we can't do the same thing. You know what I mean? Just pass it. Like, that's why, I mean, people shit on Puff and all that kind of stuff like that. But I'm going to guarantee you right now that his sons are going to take over whatever he's building.
He's grooming them. Exactly.
Damn right he's grooming them. Yeah,
just like Dame is grooming his daughters to take over the empire. That's what you have to do.
You got to do that. So you got to do that. You know what I mean? That's what your kids are
because
there for.
If you don't, your legacy will die when you do. And then you have Sony coming to take your entire catalog. You know what I mean? Shit that you, in life, you fought to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to do that.
It's horrible.
I beg hip-hop artists of all walks of life and all subgenres or like that. Educate your kids. Entertainment law. You know what I mean? All the production side, the publishing side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's all of these. Every time you talk about, oh man, he write his own rhyme, but it ain't got no black publishers.
Right.
It makes no sense. You guys, you praise these guys for their great stuff that they write, and they don't even own the stuff that they write.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you gotta own that stuff. You gotta have it. You gotta educate yourself. Go to school. If you only go to school, send your kids to school. Make them go.
So,
you know what I mean?
Circling back to Delites and their current situation, at this point, what can be done?
Well,
what can
right
be done
now,
to
from what the latest thing right now is, Tommy Boy has fell back on releasing whatever they were going to release. You know what I mean? I guess in the wake of all of this dumb shit that's going on.
Because Tidal refused to play.
Yeah,
Tidal refused to boycott. Who else boycotted? All I heard was Tidal. Who else?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Well, Nas and was talking about boycotting Tommy Boy, but I mean, Tommy Boy ain't
nobody. They don't even have any artists.
Yeah, it ain't even nobody to boycott.
It's a record label with no artists. I don't get that.
Or the artist that you're going to boycott is black.
Yeah.
It's like black. You want to not listen to Hip Hop Array no more? You know what I mean? Like that's where you at. But Tidal refused to play ball at all, and that's shout out to Tidal and Jay and everybody over there at Tidal for doing that. So they're at a stalemate now.
You know what I wish I would like to see happen? I would like to see these hip hop entrepreneurs, these moguls that have made it, the Jay-Z's, the Diddy,
Dr. Dre,
collectively come together, even start
Master
a
P.
fund,
Master P.
exactly, start a fund for hip hoppers.
Yeah, Master fucking P.
Start a fund or something, because when they get into situations like this, to be able to help them get out.
This is what Nori was been talking about. About things like this on, not any of his recent podcasts, but many of his podcasts, he would have his guests and he would speak about doing things such as this. So this is it's in the air.
I think it's the responsibility of them to save the culture. I really do.
It absolutely is.
Because they are the pioneers. They are the reason you got into the game. However, back then nobody was making coin. Nobody was making anything.
And now everybody's making more money now, and it's only but so many cars you can buy. It's only but so many trips you can take.
Educate
you know what I mean? You gotta educate and empower the people.
I feel it's your responsibility. It's their responsibility to save the culture. It really is.
Because if it's much out there and it's much more out there, if you educate anyone who's any artist who has aspirations of getting into that business, I mean, it's in their best interest to educate that young girl or that young man to say this, thus and so, as opposed to just figuring it out on their own.
Absolutely. So that's the show for today. Shout out to TySke.
Peace.
Shout out to Miss Smith. Shout out to myself. I like to thank myself. Who did it? Me. Me. That's who.
That's who.
Me. That's who.
Who I trust.
We gonna catch y'all next go round. Rap Delites. Peace.
Peace.
Rap Delites. Rap Delites.